So here at Kimmel Orchard Vineyard, we like to provide our guests with quality, large fruit. And that just doesn't happen naturally. So in order to get that large fruit, we have to thin the apple trees of excess fruit. When an apple tree blooms, it blooms in a cluster of flowers, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 flowers. It just depends on the year. If all of those flowers are actually pollinated, then you have an excessive amount of fruit, and that fruit tends to be small. We try to help assist the tree in producing large fruit. So we physically go in and remove excessive fruit. Our goal is to have, of that cluster of 5 or 6 flowers, actually develop into just one apple itself. So in this situation here, we have what was originally a cluster of several flowers has now thinned down to 3 apples. Some of them have thinned down to 2 apples. You can see the 2 apples are larger than the 3 remaining apples down here. 3 tends to be too many. If we're lucky enough to get our thinning down to 2, the apples are much larger. Ideally, we want to get the apples down to a single fruit, as in this situation here. When the apples bloom, a primary blossom opens first. That primary blossom is called the king flower. Very seldom do you actually get to have that king flower develop into an apple. If it does develop into an apple, it will naturally be the largest apple in that cluster. The reason we don't normally get to see that apple actually develop is because that flower, being the first flower to open in that cluster, is the most susceptible to cold damage, which is very, very normal to happen during apple blooms. So oftentimes that king flower is destroyed by cold weather. Here we have a situation where this apple, this yellowing apple here, is about ready to fall off naturally, natural thinning. Apples do thin naturally also. So this apple here will probably hang on for another couple days and fall off. With fruit bearing being variety dependent, there's a phenomenon known as alternate bearing, which means if a tree has an excessive amount of fruit one year, it goes into recovering mode the next year with reduced flowering and reduced fruit load. So you have heavy yield one year, lesser load the next year. That's very hard on the apple tree itself. By us coming in and removing the excessive fruit, what we're doing is we're making a nice even yield year after year. So the plant doesn't have to go into recovery mode after that heavy yielding year. It's got an even amount of fruit that's produced each year, so we're maintaining that overall health of the tree.